Hi, welcome to my Scrappin' Space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin, and I love to invite you into my Scrappin' Space to share some creativity. What do you say if we get my face out of the screen and we do some creating? There we go. Sorry guys, that took a second longer than usual. So today I'm sharing a project from Changing Leaves. Oh, I love this. I love everything about this. Fall's my favorite time of year. I love to use leaves in my card, the image of leaves, those kinds of things in my card making. So I'm going to share with you how to use this embossing folder. It's beautiful all by itself. We're going to do that. But then when you add a die into it, it's called a hybrid. That means I can emboss and cut at the same time. So I'm going to show you that. Plus, as they say, and there's more, these are separate dies. Look at those label dies. Aren't they wonderful? And we're not even going to get to those today. It's a great set. I can't wait to share it with you. Here's the card we're going to make. We're going to use that embossing folder in the back. We're going to use the dies for some leaves. And look at these beautiful leaves. I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to make those. And we're going to emboss the envelope flat. So as you can tell, we have lots to do today. Let's get started. If you're looking for directions, if you're watching me on Facebook, the directions can be found on my blog, scrappinwithjoni.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments, I put a link to the directions. Okay, so all this loveliness starts with a card base of Peach Pie. Peach Pie is one of the new in colors in the 24-25 annual catalog from Stampin' Up. There we go. So let's start with this background. We're going to start with a piece of basic white, the standard size, 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to emboss it. And when I emboss, I use that line that Stampin' Up graciously put on the folder for me. I make sure that I have the Stampin' Up logo on top, and I always go fold first. So let's move these pieces out of the way. I'm going to grab our cut and emboss machine. Pull down the sides. I love that the sides pop up. It just gives me a little more space to make a mess on my crafting table. And then when I get a folder, I label them. I put the name of the embossing folder and I put what plates I use. So for this one, I use plates 1 and 4. So 1 we use for everything on our cut and emboss. And that's this one. Then this goes, and there's always a plate on top, whether I'm embossing or die cutting. That protects my embossing folder or my die cut, and it protects my machine. And 4 is what we call the specialty plate, and that's going to go right there. And then we're just going to roll it through. How easy was that? If your machine is not rolling that easy, oh, you know what? We're going to leave this close by because our next step also uses it. I'm sorry, if your machine doesn't roll that easily, then stop and check that you're using what we call the sandwich, the right plates, nothing's caught. Okay, so we went from this to this, and this is just the beginning of what you can do with this, but oh, just stunning. And you could do this in any color. So that's our background. Then notice these pretty leaves. It looks like I did some magical watercoloring, right? Well, those of you who know me know that's not going to happen. I don't have that skill set. But we have a beautiful paper pack in the annual catalog called Thoughtful Journey. Look at those colors. They're already in there for us. You could use either side. In fact, I used this side for here. I think it's time to use this side. Let me show you now the magic of a hybrid folder. So on the side that I can see the logo, I'm going to take this larger die that is part of the hybrid, and I'm going to just play with it until it's easier for me to go this way, guys. I'm going to play with it. Whoa. I'm playing a little bit of stacking Jenga behind the camera here, and everything's going to fall. I'm sorry. I'm going to play with it till it kind of falls into place. And you know, it's that kind of thing where, there we go, you can feel it, like it's now where it's supposed to be. But I was going to say, it's the kind of thing where it's easier to do it when the camera is on. Then the side I want to use is going down. And I don't get it too close to the fold. And we go like this. And I'm still using plates 1 and 4, fold up, logo up. And we're just going to do this one more time. If you liked what I did before, wait till you can see what I can do now. This is going down, plates going on top. And now this amazing folder is embossing and cutting. Get rid of this now. Now we are done with this. Okay, let's look at what we have. We have these beautiful leaves. I was going to say that someone talented watercolored, and that's really true because we have talented artists at Stampin' Up who designed the paper, and we're just using them. Look at that. And there's all kinds of paper. We did this activity at one of my team meetings for my Stampin' Up demo team, and people use different papers, and they were all different. But what I want to point out is there's still some beautiful leaves on here. So you could cut around and use them somewhere. I'm going to use a strip of it on the inside of my card. I just haven't decided which beautiful side I'm going to use yet, but we'll get there. So here's our card front. I'm using a ribbon called Natural Polka Dot Trim. This ribbon can be found online. So in addition to all the amazing things that come in our catalog, we have even more if you go online. Start at the website of your favorite demonstrator, choose shopping, and then in the search box you can put the actual name of the item, or you could put ribbon or online exclusives. Lots of things you can do. Let's talk about our ribbon. I want it to be long enough to wrap around. So if this is a 4-inch card, I would go at least 5 inches, maybe a little more. And I'm going to attach this ribbon to the back. And just to the back because, oh, it has a little burlap that's coming off it. There we go. Because I'll show you what I'm going to do to get my bow on there. This bow. We're going to do the bow the easy way because easy's good. Let's grab some tear and tape. I like to use a grid when I'm attaching tape. There's a grid on my glass mat, but there'd also be one if you were using paper. So I'm going to go about halfway, which on my grid, if I start at 7.5 here is the dotted line. But whatever is the easiest way, you can figure that out. Oh, I'm looking at this and thinking, no, let's go 3/4 of an inch. That looks better to me. Some of you probably can just tell that by looking. That's straight and where it's want to be. I am not one of those people, so I just turn it over and make sure that this line is straight and then my ribbon is straight on a line. There we go. Like so. Then tape. Tear and tape is wonderful. It holds everything down. And this is a little thicker ribbon, so I'm going to be really generous with my tear and tape. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to start with a little piece on the back of the ribbon. That will kind of hold it in place while I really make sure it stays where I want it to be. So here's what I have. I have a little piece of ribbon on each side, and I'm going to peel that off. This is flat. It's going to mail fine. It's just that it's a little thicker, and it kind of wants to do what it wants to do. So tape kind of lets it know who's boss, that we get to decide where it's going to be. If your ribbon sticks like mine is, just rub it with the edge of your scissors, or you take your pick tool, and that that will just loosen that adhesive, because your friction provides heat, and heat is loosening up that adhesive. There we go. Okay, back to my meanderings. I'm lining this up at 7. I'm putting this 3/4 of the way up at 7 3/4. So that's going there. And this is what that ribbon does. I can start here, fold it over, keep that one in place while I move this one to where I want it. There we go. Now, they're straight on the back, so they're going to be straight on the front. But I'm going to add another piece of tear and tape over the top because, like I said, this is a ribbon who kind of wants to do what it wants to do. But it's so pretty. Don't you think it looks like fall? The white dots pick up the white of our card. Now, mine has a little bow on it. This is not as flexible as some ribbons, so you're not going to want, it's just not going to tie into a beautiful bow for you. But you can tie a knot with it, and a knot's easy to do. Here's how we do it. So we have this across here. Then we're going to slip this under here. I have a lot more than I need, but that's just easier for me to hold on to. And then I'm going to knot it. And when I knot it, I'm kind of twisting it a little bit so that I get that polka dot side. And I'll show you what else I'm going to do to get that polka dot side. There we go. This is going to slip underneath here, like so. Now, let's grab a couple glue dots. This is a card that uses a lot of adhesive, but it's so worth it, isn't it? My glue dots are here. And we're going to stick one glue dot right there, so this part of the band stays down. We're going to stick, oh, do you know what? I'm going to do this a different way because it is so thick. I'm just going to pull here so that I see both sides, and I'm going to trim it short. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then this one is going to come right under the knot and hold that down. Then we're just going to trim this. We just need a little bit, like so. There we go. That works much better. Just a couple knots. You see both sides of the white dots. We're good. All right, now we're just building a bouquet leaf, bouquet of leaves. So I just kind of laid this down and just decided what I wanted where. So they kind of, see how they're just kind of coming together like that? Once you have them together, you can say, oh, look, that can cover up that, that can cover up that. And if you don't like where the stems land when you tuck it under, you can trim it. So when I have those all together, this is all I'm going to do. You could sneak glue dots under there. You could glue them together another way. But as long as I don't see the tape coming through on the other side, look, I can catch all those pieces with a couple pieces of tear and tape. That's not going anywhere. It's all staying together. And it will help hold it down. Notice how I did the tear and tape at the bottom, partly because that's where my leaf pieces were, and partly because I want the edges and the top to be a little looser. So then we just peel that off. Seriously, the toughest part of this card is just getting that ribbon to do what you want. And it's worth it, but that's worth it. And then we're going to lay that in there and push down. Now that's great, but I felt like it needed a touch more texture. So these dies offer me some beautiful leaves. I chose to use this, this, and this. And because it's a Stampin' Up product, the paper pack tells me what colors are in there. And I went for more of a fall color theme. I picked up those colors, but you could pick up the blues. The peach is coming in the card base. So this is what I have. I cut out each of them from Wild Wheat and Cajun Craze, which really gives it a fall vibe. And then I just played, and none of them are gonna all look the same, but I tucked that one into there. We can tuck this one, and that's what you're doing. You're just tucking back into here, and they're kind of catching under the leaves. Then we have these, and you can kind of decide how much you want to do. I mean, like, you could do a lot, I think I want to do this one, so next to it I have that contrast, just like so. And then we have these lovely little ones, and we don't want to forget them. They're really offering some color there. Oh, I think we have enough. You do have to know when to stop. Now, some of these just stayed because they were tucked under, but some of them I used glue dots, and I used glue dots underneath the leaf. This is so open that it would be hard to glue it. So here's what I did. Let's start with the easy ones because they have a full leaf, and you can just see how I just stuck a glue dot there to catch it. That's actually catching that other one, but we don't want pieces of our card to arrive not on our card. We don't want someone to think we're sending them a card kit instead of a completed card. So we'll do that. Then this one, we'll go right here, and it's going to catch that one. We just have one left. It's really pretty easy. If you could cut these pieces out ahead of time and just think of all the different colors you have. Think of those scraps of really pretty paper. We used all kinds of paper on demo day and made just some stunning cards. And what my team did was they made just the card front. Like they got this far. Then they went home and finished the card and posted it on our page. And guys, I'm going to quick grab. I'm missing our little glimmer dots. Aren't they fun? And they're not in there. I just used them on another project with using the peach pie paper, and they were set aside. So these are the 24-26 in color shimmer gems. I love that they shimmer, and I also love that they're relatively small, so they add just a bit of interest. They don't take over and fight with what else you're doing on there. So let's add those. And I'm just kind of looking for some open space. I'm going to add 3 because I like to add things in odd numbers, and I do it in a roughly triangular shape. And as you can see, I'm not putting them anywhere where I put them on this card. Your card will kind of tell you where they need them. So each one will be a little different. And please don't feel like you have to copy mine exactly. There we go. All right. We're almost done with our card. It's so pretty. Let's put it on a card base. Look at that. That kind of brings it all together, doesn't it? That peach pie picks up those lighter colors there. But of course, you could put it on any card base you wanted. I'm going to attach it with my multi-purpose glue, and I'm going to take advantage of the fact that tear and tape is holding that ribbon down. So we'll peel off the back, and that can help too. I'm not going to use my all-time favorite tape runner because there's a lot of embossing on here, and sometimes that tape runner is just going to slide over the top if it's not smooth. This, on the other hand, I haven't used this one for a while. There we go. Just needs you don't need a lot of glue with our multi-purpose glue. It's really strong, and it really can go where those crevices are. So this is going to go like this. I'm going to start with my card base straight in the hopes that I'll get more of this straight. And I can move it around a little bit. Look at that. How easy is that? There we go. Now we have a couple things left to do. So I love making cards without sentiment on the front because I think it gives me more flexibility. Like, what would this card want to be? Obviously, it could be a Thanksgiving card, but it could be more than that. It could be a sympathy card, could be a birthday card, thinking of you, get well soon. So I'm going to leave the inside blank. But when I go to use the inside, I want to put a little bit of the front to the inside. So remember this beautiful piece of paper that we had? I'm going to grab my paper cutter, and I'm going to take just a 1/2 inch strip. Now I could take it from the top, and I do have some blue there, And I could take it from down here, though we didn't use as much of those darker colors. I think instead I'm going to take it from the side, and I need just a 1/2 inch. And now look at that beautiful paper. And here's what I'm talking about that I'm going to do with it. I'm going to take standard, same size as the front, and I'm going to adhere that right to the top, trim it off, and now I have some of that beautiful color on the inside of my card. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Just going to lay that on there. Now, you often see me do exactly the same thing with an envelope flap. And if you want to use this, you could just emboss a solid piece like we did with this. Don't cut out the leaves. And you could cut that up for an envelope flap. That would be stunning. I'm going to show you something else that's even a little easier. And so pretty. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Whoops, runaway. That could be the inside of your card. And I'm not going to adhere this down because I don't know what I'm going to stamp on it yet. But that's our inside. Let's talk about that envelope. So this is what I did. Hold it up so you can see it with the light. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love that. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to put the glue away because we don't need to trim and attach a piece of paper. We're going to grab that embossing folder. And I'm going to put this fold aligned with where my embossing folder ends. If you look close on any of your embossing folders, there's your embossed image and there's the end. I'm going to try to line up that with the end of the embossed edge, not this, not the end of my folder. And so, and these wider folders work great for this. That's what we're going to do. We're grabbing our cut and emboss, and we're going to use the same plates, 1 and 4. And our envelope's kind of going to hang off the side. And you're tempted to do this, right? Like, let me just stick that under there. But see what happens? It won't go all the way. You're going to have a fold there. It's not a good look. So we're going to move this back so that my fold is at the end of that. I'm going to lay it down. Notice it's going to hang over the edge. That's fine. The only thing you're going to do is going to make a little, you're going to hear a little bump when you go through. And then we're just going to roll it. Just like that. See, can you hear that when it just kind of came off the edge? All right, let's put this away now. And we have a beautifully embossed envelope flap to go with our beautiful card. How easy was that? Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. Until next time, take care and keep crafting.